The Dharma to Abandon the Depression by Venerable Rungruan Papasaro, Dr. Rungruan Lim Chu Patapa. The lower fetter of dullness, torpor, and depression is kind of unwholesome thought of some unfavorable experiences in the past. The mind is struggling with repeated bad experiences, it will make the mind to be torpid and eventually depressed. The mind is trapped into sort of dreaming, and losing the sense of what is happening at the present moment. The torpor is originated from the ignorance of not knowing the truths of life correctly. As a matter of fact, what happened in the past has already gone, but the mind keeps on assuming a self to bother with the matter, and then keeps on generating a new duplicated mental object of the matter time and time again, starting with an initial thought of ignorance, then being formulated to be a torpor along the course of thought. This is sort of a self-delusion of bad experience in the past. And as a result, this problem hurts the mind to suffer with torpor, and depression of middle defilement, and a delusion in rough defilement. It is very interesting to observe that although no one wants to dig into the past bad experiences because it is painful, and definitely no one wants to be painful, why we just forget the bad experiences in the past, and this is because the mind is no self, and what is happening in life is due to a certain cause and effect in nature, it is not be as our wishing or expectations. In Buddhism, we learn on how to have a mindfulness at present moment to shift the mode of thinking from those past experiences to pay attention on the present moment. In this circumstance, the Buddha suggested to apply a proper dharma to handle the dullness, torpor, and depression as follows. Depression arises when the mind is in low energy mode due to thinking or reminding of something in the past. These thinking makes the mind feel down and bored with whatever it is. As the mind continues in being so, we feel depressing. It seems to be a mentally self-punishment to an individual by adding more suffering into life. As a matter of fact, we should not waste our time on these thinking, but instead we charge up the life to recover from this bad situation. In the case of depression, the Buddha suggested to shift the mind, so that the mind will have something more interesting to do. This technique is called the way to manage to suppress the current unwholesome thought by resetting the mind with a proper dharma as follows. Washing up the face with fresh water to awaken the mind. This is the simplest way to shift the mind from being worry is by refreshing the body, talking with friends on some interesting story, taking some exercises like jogging, and try not to become lonely. Typically, it is the way to refresh the mind by having mindfulness on something to do. Walking up and down with mindfulness or performing a mindfulness breathing, by walking up and down with mindfulness and having a mindfulness in breathing in and breathing out at all times. The focus of mind will be shifted from depressive matter or story to have mindfulness at the present moment. Having a mindfulness listening or discussing on Dharma, or reading Dharma, or discoursing on Dharma, or thinking of the wholesomeness of Dharma, so that the mind becomes internally steadied, composed, unified, and concentrated, and once the mind is shifted to have mindfulness at the present moment, the mind will abandon the anxiety right away. Applying the Four Noble Truths to resolve the problem, stop worrying about the problem, but having a mindfulness to review the problem carefully, such as what is the origin and the cause of the problem? What are the benefits and harms of the problem? How we can resolve the problem? When the mind shifts to focus on problem-resolving orientation, then the mind will stop to be worried. Having some Dharma from the 10 perceptions as follows. A perception on impermanency. A perception on no self or impersonality. A perception on abandonment. A perception on detachment. A perception on cessation. And if necessary, taking a rest or having some recreation activities to shift the mind from the depressive matter. The bad experiences of the past may pop up during the courses of though, causing a depression of sadness and misery suffering, and making the mind unrest with struggling. Having a mindfulness at the present moment to pull the mind back to become internally steadied, and then applying the Four Noble Truths analysis to resolve the problem is the most effective way to abandon the depression.